Hello, it's Monday, and everybody knows what Monday means. Monday Market 15, the 15-minute show that takes about 30 minutes, so hang on to your hats, buckle up your seatbelts, let's get ready for a ride. And that ride also includes my co-host, the infamous, the famous, the bodaciously beautiful, and bright, whatever B word you want to use.
Oh, not whatever B word
Not the bad one. Ashley Miller.
Hello, everyone.
There she is. There we go.
Hopefully everyone has their Santa hats on, or there's so many things I could say not to be religious by any means, because we all celebrate different things: Festivus, Hanukkah, Christmas.
Festivus.
Yeah, we all do.
For the rest of us.
Festivus for the rest of us.
It is the holiday season, and whatever season you want to celebrate, that's up to you. If you're Jehovah, then you're probably not celebrating it.
Half my family was for a long time. I remember that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
It was very interesting. But anyway, I think one of the things we want to bring into this is not about family, buying and selling during the holidays. What to do?
What to do? Should I put up the article now? Is that what we're referencing, or is that
why it works? What to do? You can pull it up. I
I'll
made some notes over here to my left.
So I did not read this article. I am totally blind today. Today has just been, it's Ashley's show. So she's leading the whole thing. I'm just kind of filling in where I have my experience and kind of my knowledge. And we'll pull up reports as we need to. But Ashley, the stage is yours.
I want to talk about, currently, I want to buy a property.
Yeah.
And this is what I was just wanting to discuss with you. Right now, I want to buy another property. I want to buy a rental Airbnb. Well, really an Airbnb.
You were talking in Mesa. You texted earlier saying that you're interested
something about Mesa, because as not only being in the real estate industry, I also have my salon and bridal boutique, and there's a ton of wedding venues in Mesa. So with that being said, when you're buying a rental or an Airbnb, what is your purpose and what is your audience? And I know what my audience is. My audience is going to be very girly, very feminine. And you want to buy around where all the wedding venues are in Mesa. So that's actually a conversation after this.
Yeah, the Superstition Mountains tend to be that wedding destination for photos.
I didn't say that far.
Oh, well, the backdrop, you can see the superstitions from pretty much anywhere in Mesa.
But many people are talking about, like, oh, gosh, why are you going to buy right now? I'm like, this is a perfect time to buy. Because there's so many people who, as one of the articles says, they're taking down their for sale signs.
I put that back up.
They are going out, they're taking down their for sale signs, and they're putting up beautiful Christmas lights. And they're enjoying their family. Not that I don't enjoy my family. I love my family. Like, I'm obsessed with my children. We have 2 Christmas trees in our house. Like, we are, like, the Christmas, like, house. But
do I want to know? I haven't seen your house.
The outside's really ugly, I'm not going to lie. But the inside, we have 2 Christmas trees.
Well, it should be pretty with all the lights up there.
Most of the time, because we haven't done it on the outside, but I'm OCD, so we have one tree that matches our house, and then we have one family tree that's with all of our family ornaments since the boys were little. Oh. And then they can place them wherever they want without me, like, going so OCD on them. Yeah. But, like, the other fancy trees, like, I control that whole thing. So there's that.
We're talking about Christmas, right?
Yeah, so, number one on that list, less competition. What are people doing right now? They're backing down. They're Christmas shopping. They're traveling.
Yeah.
Their mind has changed focus. My mind has not changed focus. And a lot of your buyers' minds have not changed focus. And a lot of your sellers' minds have not changed focus. So when you are working with an awesome real estate agent like Robert Morales, he's not going to let you go on that train of, like, getting so wrapped in the holidays. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that, like, if you really want something, nothing's going to stop you. Well, not even Christmas.
Yeah, and really what it comes down to is strategy. And when you sit down with your agent or anybody that's in your best interest, you have set goals and you have this idea of where you want to go in the next 6 months, which is short term, the next 5 to 7 years, which is a little bit medium term. And then obviously, are you kind of gearing towards retirement? So somebody being mindful of that, looking at the market, understanding how the market's fluctuating and what's happening now will help you in that strategy in a way. And not the person that's in there for their self-interest, not just for a sale, but they're actually there invested. And I'll explain a conversation later when we get into it. But I mean, again, sitting down and strategizing what's in your best interest, regardless of time of year, right?
Well, I know it is regardless of time of year. So right now, I feel that we have created less competition because people are focused on other things. They're focused on holidays and baking and traveling, and I'm reiterating myself, but that gives us, buyers, more or a better
I always tell people that it's basically July and August, and then November, December are your best months in our market to purchase a house. So because of that, because people are caught up in the holidays and because they have their mindset on other things, people in business are trying to get their taxes, trying to get their taxes in line, which is what I'm focusing on too. So there's so many things going on these particular 2 months that distracts you from buying a home.
Some buyers have the advantage, and actually sellers have the advantage as well. Yep. Because when you're a seller and you're keeping your house on the market, you have the advantage of buyers who are serious.
Yep.
So to me, that's a win-win for everyone. Where we have
those are some serious buyers when they're coming out in the holiday. They're not really spending time or as much time with their family, or they're focusing on buying a house rather than. Or
there's some really good online shoppers, or they pre-shopped.
Unless you're Ashley and a really good Black Friday, Cyber Monday shopper like Ashley.
No, not me. Literally, I was telling Robert when I came in, the only present under my Christmas tree right now is actually a present for you. And the boys are like, seriously, that's for Robert? I'm like, he's so easy. You're so easy to buy for, by the way.
Oh.
But I strategize it all. And like, okay, if I'm going to online shop, but I'm also going to online shop for homes. And when I find something, then that'll come into play. So you can create more time for house hunting. So for the sellers out there, people who are dead serious are going to do the things. They're going to buy online. They're going to come up with different strategies so they can make that little bit of extra time instead of wrapping presents at night to search for a home. And then maybe on a Saturday afternoon before they go to the Saturday night Christmas movie at Scottsdale, or actually it's Friday night, Christmas movie at Scottsdale Quarter, like they can go search homes. Like you can manipulate your time. And I think this is such a great time. Like, don't take your home off the market. And buyers, don't get fearful. Like, it is there's so much less competition.
I say if there was a word to describe this market right now, it's like a toss-up. If you're a buyer, it's a great opportunity. Sellers, with the limited supply, you could still put on market and still get a good price. So right now, I really feel it's like that kind of shift, that transitional shift. Kind of like when you throw a ball up in the air and then it gets to that peak before it starts coming down. That's where we're at, kind of that peak elevation. And where it goes from there, it could skyrocket, could keep going up. That's what I anticipate things going on into January. But, that remains to be said. But right now, again, tremendous opportunities on both sides of that coin.
Well, and our trajectory for 2022 as far as interest rates, I mean, as we spoke many times before, and we had a lender on Victor last week, the rates are going to go up. They're going up. They're anticipated to increase, February, March, April. April is really kind of where they're going to start to incline, and homes are going to stay steady. So 1 + 1 always equals 2, right?
Most times.
Why not? Well, if you ask my kids, 1 + 1 = 21. I don't know why, but they always say that's so weird.
I thought it'd be 11.
I know, I would too, but they're just odd children. So, but you have the advantage is rates are still low.
Yeah.
The inventory, it might change a little bit for people who are taking their homes off the market. Yeah. But with that being said, the homes that are on the market, in my personal opinion, there's going to be less competition.
Yeah, and I think normally people want to sell. I mean, I would say, not just these last 2 years, but the last 3 years, people have been putting in their more than, I guess, their fair share, more than just a small down payment. And so people, when they typically put 20, 30% down on a home or above asking price, like particularly this last year, they're more invested, and they're not necessarily selling next year. They're not selling in 2 years. They're not selling in 3 years because, again, they're kind of waiting that market out. And they've already overpaid for the house. Oh. So if they sold within the next year, they're going to be losing money potentially. Right. And so a lot of this inventory issues, we're still going to remain in a short supply for quite a while now. And that's all it's going to do is elevate prices. So again, it's just in that kind of transition mode area. It's a good time for both, And as interest rates go up a little bit, that might slow things. But right now, they're really great,
Interest rates are great. Home market's great. We talked about less competition.
I'll show this. This is the demand supply index. So we're still at a very high demand. As you can see, green means high demand, And then on the supply side, green is not good. Green means low inventory, and you want kind of that yellowish balanced market. That's where we're at right now.
No, and we've been very consistent with that. And I think there's so many things, and I'm going to touch on some key points. At the end of the year, let me backtrack. In my opinion, the time that most people are looking to transition is when their kids are about to go back to school. Usually it's not necessarily summertime, so it's like almost falling into fall, which in Arizona we really don't have fall, but it's during that portion where they're transitioning. But from my understanding in reading, like, why are we not doing this now? We're all setting these goals. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
I promise I'm going to start going to the gym.
I already started going. But I already started before the New Year's, which goes into play of why I want to buy another house before the end of the year, if it comes into fruition, because you're going to help me. But we have tax deductions. So I'm going to have to look at these stats because these are factual stats. So the stats are $750,000 if you buy before the end of the year that you can write off, and it's a $10,000 with property taxes and
What are you referring to? What do you got over there?
Write-offs. So end of the year deduction up to $750,000, along with a combination of a deduction up to $10,000 of local, state, and property tax. So if you buy now before the year ends, next year in 2022, you can write off all this on your taxes. You just have to buy and close before the end of the year. Like, think about that.
And as a disclaimer, we're not tax accountants anyway.
No, we're not.
Financial planners.
These
but we are providing information that you can go explore on your own.
So historically,
don't blame us if we don't.
From the past.
Don't blame us later.
And nobody's going to blame us because,
we're fun, but.
Taxes are taxes. We all know if you do anything. Why do you think people end their insurance at the end of the year? Like, we're going to get all this stuff done before the end of the year because it renews itself. And you're at the end of your deductible. It's the same thing with your homes. Yeah. People understand that probably a little bit more in their homes if they're not actually home buyers or have never owned a home themselves, but most people have insurance. Yeah. So historically, homes have always decreased during the holidays. Yeah. They're not now because if you pull up that one.
Am I doing more?
Yeah.
Am I doing the Cromford one?
Yeah, the one article where, so last year and this year, they've actually been wonderful. Like they've.
Oh, I'm doing the article?
You're doing the article.
All right.
We think that most people are like bunkering up or hunking down or staying in their homes and they're traveling. But that is the exact reason why we need to go out and buy homes right now, or the exact reason why sellers need to put their homes on the market. Don't take your home off the market.
Well, we definitely want more houses.
We need to do it.
We need more houses.
You're going to have, in my opinion, and from what I've researched online, better buyers. You're going to have more serious buyers. You're going to have somebody who is there. There's not going to be a bunch of like tug and war. Like, hey, I want to buy this house. I don't want to go through all this nonsense. This is the holidays. Are you in or are you out? Yeah. I feel like it's more black and white or green and red. I don't know. We
can go any color on that.
Any color we want. It's fine. During this time. And I think that if you are a seller who is looking to sell your home, gosh, we all love the holidays, whether you celebrate any of the holidays listed above, but don't go over.
You know what I haven't seen are listing photos with like Christmas lights and trees.
I think people should. Who doesn't love to see like the festivities or like? So my best friend Robbie, I don't know if he's watching, but I love my best friend Robbie. We've been friends since we were 13, and I'm 39, so that's a lot of years. He's Jewish, and so I put up a Jewish Christmas tree in his house. So it's a Christmas tree all decorated in the colors with like a menorah, blue, white, and all of it. And it was so fun because I got to
Isn't it just a tree at that point? It's not a Christmas tree, just a tree.
Well, I celebrate Christmas and he's Jewish, so it's a
mesh.
It's a mesh.
It's an integration.
It was beautiful.
Just
and I love it. But it's like regardless of what holiday you celebrate, I feel like everyone there's so much good energy during the holidays. Yeah. So not to go overboard, but you can take pictures with lights in your house. Take pictures with.
It would be kind of nice, a little bit different than just to see conventional, just run of the mill, house photos. I did take some photos this weekend. I have a rental coming up. It'll be on market in about a month. We did the photos this weekend. Then I have a listing. You did want to talk about Mesa too, but I guess I'll wait for you to give me the cue on that one.
Well, so we're talking about the holiday stuff. We're creating that warm, comfy feel. So if you have a fireplace, get photos of the fireplace burning. Not necessarily the stockings above with your kids' names on it, because we don't want to personalize it too much. but maybe generic, like, stage photos of stockings, or maybe just the fireplace in general with a little basket with fake firewood and blankies, and creating that emotional connection, because during this time, it is a very emotional connection with the holidays. So if you create that through your photos, you might be able to attract somebody who is
holiday minded,
and more not holiday minded, but more inclined to. They can experience it. They can feel the energy through a photo, and that's where I was going with that.
Anyway, it's all good. So anyway, you did talk about wanting to check supply. I'll put that up, and I don't know if it'll spur off the next thing. Ashley took control of the show today, and I didn't take any notes, so I'm kind of noteless. I am naked right now. I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put up. Well, you don't see what's under the desk, Ash.
I actually don't.
Oh, hello. So, looking at month supply, the one thing that I am anticipating, like I've said before, is the increase in prices into the next year. And as you can see, this time last year in December of 2021 or 2020, I should say, we had about a 0.7 month supply, which is about where we're at today. And as you can kind of see, a downward trend in our supply, and it's just kind of bellowing out, like it's evening out. So that whole analogy where I gave just a few minutes ago, where the ball is just kind of thrown up in the air and it's just at that level where it's reached its peak and you're just waiting for it to drop, it's just right there. Mm-hmm. Is it going to drop? Is it going to continue with these low supply situation where prices still increase? Where is supply coming from if we do increase it? Because it's not the evictions. I did see another article this weekend
it's not.
Regarding evictions, and I think there was I don't remember accurately because I should have pulled it for today's show. There was about 1,900 evictions or active evictions right now, which is a very, very small number. I think for December. Very, very small number compared to I think the 4 million that are in renting right now. So it's way less than 1%. It's like 0.001%, something like that. So, the thing with price is there's got to be supply somewhere. If you're waiting for the price to come down, we have to have supply from some place. And every report and everything that I'm seeing, I'm not really seeing where it would come from unless people started selling and listing their house. The people that came from, out of state started selling their house all of a sudden. For whatever reason. I don't think that's going to happen. I think a lot of people that came from out of state are working from home, and they've really built their home lives here, and they're not wanting to go find another job somewhere where they have to go to the office back in Chicago or back in LA or back in I have a friend of mine, or I should say Violet's boss is in Arkansas, and she has to fly back this week to be in the office.
You sent me a great article.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did. Yes, I did. I just sent her a great article.
So I thought this was so interesting.
I did that on purpose.
About the different states. Did you
well, while you're looking that up, I'm gonna show you existing housing inventory. So as you hear the narrative out there in the internet ether, you'll see articles where our housing supply is increasing, and nationally it is, but not locally. So nationally, what I just showed you, that chart just before this one, the chart before was talking about our local Phoenix market. This is, again, more on a national level. And if you look back in December, we were at housing inventory of whatever the millionth here. So what is that? 100 billion homes inventory. I don't know. The numbers are right there. But it's numbers by units, and then it's increased to 1.2 from 1.06 from last year. Which, I wish I had pulled the other chart up, but it's about a 6-month supply. So as you hear more information out there regarding our housing supply, you'll hear increasing housing numbers, but it's not local. It's not here in Phoenix. And that's what this show is about. We're here to focus in on the Phoenix market. And the Phoenix market is still competitive. It's still hot. There's really a lot of competition out there as you're purchasing, but there's still opportunities, as we're talking about. Did you find your article, Miss?
I did not, but it was talking about the different states, and I was actually really interested because I had no idea that Boise, Idaho was one of the top states with the highest increase.
Oh, I kind of remember that article. I read so many at a time that I don't remember the specifics.
You pulled up my phone, but
Boise was the destination point. People were going to start moving out of these congested or competitive areas into less competitive areas, and the less competitive was the top one. I think was Boise, right?
Yeah, but it was like 39.7, and Arizona was 37.5. I was really shocked by, there were states that I was really shocked that it had increased so much.
Yeah.
So we think that these other states are not following the trend of Arizona. They are.
Yeah.
We're all following the trend. So, which goes back to what you said. If we're not going to level off. I mean, we might say steady, but we're going to go up. And if these smaller towns, I mean, Boise is a little bit bigger, but if some of these smaller towns are still climbing, what is that? I mean, we're going to continue as well.
Yeah, I think with the state, especially like the holidays when people come from out of town, like we have a number of guests coming from Chicago this next week, and you know why? We have a number of guests coming from Chicago this week.
Because you're getting married.
Yeah, I know. And one of them, my I guess he's not formally my brother-in-law, but my brother-in-law's brother-in-law came in from Chicago and was like, hey, man, every time I come here, I love the state. I want to start looking for a house. And I think a lot of people during this time do that. And so will we get a little bit more competition coming into January? I believe so, on top of just normal cycles. Right now, I think we're slowing down only because it's a normal market cycle. It's just normal timing for the market. There's nothing indicating that there's a big sweep coming in or like there's a bunch of supply coming. Oh, look, I can tell you're like ready to just like explode.
People are coming into town, and what happens when people come into town, they see that Arizona is gorgeous during the holidays.
Because they're coming around the mountain when they
come, yeehaw. So they come out here, and all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, they come out here with their family, and they see that
awesome weather, man.
Weather is beautiful.
This is the best time of year.
And the lights are gorgeous, and they're like, we're going to move. And I feel like that's when the holidays is what creates what's about to happen in April, May. But I did find that article, and I want to read this real quick because I was actually very intrigued. So
you got her phone out.
I did. The 5 states with the highest annual appreciation: Idaho, 35.8; Utah, 30.3; Arizona, and I correct myself because I said 37.7. It's actually 27.7. Montana, which I want to go there so bad because I just love Kevin Costner and he lives there, but that's 26%.
I'm glad everybody knows that now.
Florida, 48. You just got me all
flustered. You got flustered. Kevin Costner, come on. That's Superman's dad.
I love him. Okay.
I think you have a dad complex.
Florida, 24.8%.
Good daddy issues.
District of Columbia, 8%. North Dakota, 10.5%. Louisiana, 10.9%. Maryland, 12.5%. And Iowa, 13%. And I never would have thought that literally 50% of these, like this list, were the top leading of the highest annual appreciation. That was intriguing to me. I thought maybe Texas would have been on there, or Virginia, or...
Yeah, I think there's going to be some market shifts for sure. If you on the political spectrum, I think you kind of notice that high tax rate areas tend to lean one political side, and people that are coming to lesser tax areas. I mean, in Chicago, Violet's house or mom's house, I think they were paying like normally $10,000 a year. And here, the same size house, you'd only pay $1,500, $1,800 a year.
So what's going to happen is these people from Montana, where we're not far apart, they're going to come out here and they're like, oh, you have a beautiful Christmas without snow, and they're all going to move out here.
I didn't know you had a thing for Kevin Costner.
Oh, I've been in love with him since forever.
Boy.
Like Field of Dreams. Like, seriously.
So the young Kevin Costner, not the...
Oh, no. I still like him now.
You like dad bod Kevin Costner?
Oh, are you that judgmental?
I don't know. I haven't seen his dad bod.
It's about the internal feelings.
What is it about Kevin Costner that you like?
His voice. And he's such a great actor, and he can acclimate. I mean, he can play so many different roles.
I guess I've never paid attention.
Don't get me started. He's my hall pass, by the way. Kevin Costner, you're listening, you're my hall pass.
But anyway, if you guys have any comments or questions regarding anything relating to the Phoenix market, we're here to help and provide information as we go. We got about 5 minutes left, Ms. Miller, but I did want to kind of wrap up a little bit about the rental market. The rental market, and again, we talk about these things all the time. The rental market, I think, is going to continue to have, a lot more steam behind it for the next few months. Remember, like I've said before, you tend to see a trailing effect between housing. So if we're at a kind of a peak now, it'll be about 6 months before we get to that same peak in rentals. So if you are, and this goes back to last week and the week before, if you are in the rental market or if your lease is coming up in the next 6 months, right now is the time to reconsider purchasing. Because the rental rates you're going to be very surprised or very shocked if your tenant, or your landlord comes to you and says they want to discontinue your lease. And then if you go back in that market, it is not pretty at all. You're looking at anywhere from $400 to $500 more than what you were paying a year before. And a lot of landlords are seeing that. And so on the landlord side, again, you're looking pretty good. I mean, I do see a lot of motivation in landlords to discontinue their lease and start a new lease because they have limits as far as how much they can raise the rent each year on you as the previous tenant. But there is no limits when they relist it with somebody else. Yeah. So just be mindful if you are in a position, especially if your credit score, if you watch it, is above 640, definitely reconsider purchasing rather than going back into rent, because you'll see that you will save a lot more money purchasing than you would buying. Renting. And
I think we should add the link for the annualcreditreport.com because everyone is allowed to have a free credit report.
We didn't plan for this.
No, we didn't, but that's a great thing because you bought a credit report, and it is very important that you check your credit and know where you are financially. And if you listened to our podcast last week, we had a lender on, and we spoke a lot about understanding credit and all the advantages you can get. You don't have to have a 700 credit score to purchase a home. And I want to reiterate, if you are, it's called annual credit report.
Well, disregard that. Yeah, we're not financial advisors, by the way. So,
but no, it's a great site, and I want to go back. So if you're looking,
hold on a second.
Yes, annual credit report. God, he does not listen. Talking time out. I don't know.
I'm trying to run a show here. You don't let me.
Oh, but if you ever have a question about listing your property during the holidays, or if you want to buy a home during the holidays. Doesn't mean you have to pack up your stuff and move during the holidays. You can extend your move day, and you can have your lender lock in your interest rate for 45 days. Yes, that is it. Yeah. So it's a great site. Again,
we're not financial advisors by any means, but we are resourceful if you want to reach out.
It's a consumer website, yeah.
If you want to explore this as a way to kind of monitor, I would suggest reaching out to either Victor or your lender, or reaching out to one of us, and we can kind of direct you on where to kind of explore your purchasing opportunities here in Phoenix. If you're watching the show right now.
So I think it's the right time to buy right now.
Oh, you do?
During the holidays, yeah. Let's do it.
I mean, like I told you, the last 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago.
last 2 weeks ago.
Oh, my God. Oh, it's almost the end of the show. So about 2 weeks ago, we were able to negotiate a contract, able to get $5,000 in seller concessions, able to get a home warranty from the seller, and then also on top of it, after we complete our inspections, get an additional $2,500. Just again, a tremendous opportunity for my client, for my buyer. Tremendous opportunity left out there for the buyers that are still in the market, still holding on to hope. But hope is not a strategy. Somebody told me
it is not.
That's Ashley's go-to line. Hope is not a strategy.
But I do have a tattoo on my ankle in kanji that represents hope, which is kind of ironic. But I was also 16 years old, so there's that.
Oh.
But I think that sellers and buyers are in such an advantage right now, and you can represent both because you're amazing.
Yes. Oh, and just to let you guys know, in Mesa, I do have a listing about to come up on market in about 2 weeks. It's a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom. It's running at $275. We're going to be listing it in about a couple weeks. So it's a townhouse. So you FHA buyers, it's eligible for FHA.
HOA though?
HOA, yes.
HOA approved?
Yes, and I don't have the amounts or anything yet because I'm still working on it. But those photos should be coming up. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you want in early, let me know, and I will get you in early. And then also, too, I think I have a rental coming up. I think we're planning in about 30 days. I just took photos. I'll be posting those. If you want, follow me on Facebook. You'll be seeing those photos probably today, so just hold on to that. But I got nothing else, miss, and it's the end of the show. Anything we need to cover or talk about before we head out?
One last question, because you asked about buys and rentals. Do you
supposed to end the show.
Rent to purchase? Lease to own.
Lease to own. I don't normally recommend it. It's not very common, and it's in markets where the seller it's more of a buyer's market.
Okay.
Or it's a seller mostly incentive because they have a house that they can't sell.
We have great knowledge in both. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah. So we have great knowledge in both.
That's where I was going with it.
Yeah, so we have information for you and you alone. So. That wasn't a question. That was more of a statement.
little bit of both.
Anything else before we head out, Miss?
I'll see you next week.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. All the viewers, if you have any comments or questions about the Phoenix market, anything you want us to bring up next week, we are here. We are available, and anything we can share, we will. Thank you, Miss Miller. You're a delight as always, and I can't wait for next week. And I don't think our audience can't wait either. So you might want to come back early, maybe.
I can.
Oh, well, maybe. I will hope. So until next week, see you guys. Have a good one.